Through the prayers of Holy Father, through Jesus Christ, our God of mercy and us, and save us. Amen. Good evening. For those new here, my name is Father Joseph Swaden. I've worked in Orthodox apologetics since 1998, and I'm the founder of NFTU, True Orthodox and Ecumenical News, since 2004. We've been in the apologetic space on Facebook since 2016, on YouTube since 2018, and on X since 3 weeks ago. So if you appreciate what we do here, please like, subscribe, repost it, share. Today we do our live Q&A session where you can get your questions answered live as well as member requested video reviews. So let's get started. And as always, if you want to jump on the stream to ask a question or make a comment, just click the link in the top of the chat. I'll be taking super chats from the YouTube chat. And if you want your question or comment without super chatting, I'll answer it, but I might miss it if I don't put it up. So let's get started today. It is obviously it's the 29th of September, according to the church calendar, or October 12th today, according to the Gregorian. I'd love to say that I have great news on the horizon right now. Unfortunately, I have bad news. Some people, I assume, may think it's great news. Big So let me just start with the comments. I just realized, yep. Hill says, I'm not waiting. Okay, hopefully you're back. Embrace Jesus and Orthodox says, well, 24 seconds after you uploaded. Thank you for being here. I don't know what that means. I don't know if you mean uploaded because it's live. But anyway, Big Sosa, may God bless you in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So let's get started, right? And let's see here. Got some bad news today globally. Apparently this is a thing that, when did this actually happen? It looks like, okay, so that was 2 days ago. And it's bad news in Bulgaria. So let's put that on the screen. Give me just a sec. And I'll read the whole article and put it up here. Yeah, the appellate court in Bulgaria initiates liquidation and deregistration of Old Calendar Orthodox Church of Bulgaria, which is also known as the True Orthodox Church of Bulgaria. Apparently this has been quite a long process. It says here a 3-judge panel of the Sofia Appellate Court on Saturday rendered a final judgment against initiating liquidation and deregistration proceedings for the Old Calendar Orthodox Church of Bulgaria, OCOCB, the court said on its website Friday. There you could see the cathedral there in Sofia of the True Orthodox of Bulgaria. It says, acting on an interlocutory appeal lodged by the Sofia City Prosecution Office in July 2025, the SAC set aside a refusal by the Sofia City Court to terminate the OCOCB's registration. So basically, they're judging this basically because they're saying that they have the same name. It says, in the reasons to its judgment, the SAC argues that the revisions to the Religious Denomination Act adopted after OCOCB's registration provide that the designation of a denomination may not breach public policy and morals, and may be misleading, and may not contain the word orthodox or similar words with the same meaning. So this has actually been going on for about probably about 12 years. They originally applied for the Religious Denominations Directorate in 1993. That was left without a formal reply. By 2013, they had 24 priests and 2,000 adherents minimum. And so they continued to operate as normal, but without a legal framework. Because of the new changes to the current law, they applied to the European Court of Human Rights, which actually judged in their favor. And so after this, it would appear that the SEC continued to refuse to register them, and effectively is now threatening to liquidate their parishes. So this is actually awful. This came in on Friday. This is shameful news. So it looks like, of course, while the new calendarists are probably quite happy about this development, I think regular people shouldn't be, and that's my feeling. So let's take a look here. And oh, we got a question. Daniel York says, "I'm just wondering, do you think now that Hassan's reputation is finally destroyed, if it happens, he will probably be replaced by another person who will gladly take his position?" Hassan's reputation. The only Hassan I can think of in recent memory of any knowledge is probably like Hassan Piker or something. And to mind, he's not a government guy. So what are we talking about here? Ortho Pirate with a member chat. As you know, if you are a member, you can get your comments on the screen in full. Father bless. May God bless you in the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So, yeah. So I'm not sure which Hassan we're talking about. So if we're talking about the stream, yeah, if we're talking about the streaming guy, I mean, he deserves what he gets for what he did to his dog, and there's an endless stream of left-wing YouTubers all looking to jump in, and they usually have some massive moral failing. Before Hassan, it was Destiny until he was just revealed to be just a total and complete degenerate who wants to kill Americans. And now they've moved to Hassan Piker. And of course, this guy beats his dog and stuff. And so, or electrocutes his dog. And so stuff like that. I would say that, yeah, Ortho Pirate says Hassan is being accused of shocking his dog. Yeah, I believe he shocked it. I believe, and that was shameful. And what a horrible person. Yeah, he says, Taylor Harden says, Hassan, the communist hard. Okay, I see where we want to talk about Hassan Piker today, I guess. I'm that's fine. I think. I don't know if I should put that on Twitter or something, or if I should put this on X so people who are confused about what we're talking about with the dog, I guess I will make it relevant. Give me just a moment. Let me see if I can find. Let's see here. Uh, Oh, just giving the context. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Well, I think that it's good to give the context. It's not okay. It's not relevant. All right, because I was about to go look for the video of the dog being shocked, and then some people made AI videos of like the dog shocking him back. But yeah, okay, that's true. It's not. It's probably not relevant. What is relevant is this absolutely horrendous news. This is it's been going on for about a decade, but the court seems very much intent on making sure that the True Orthodox get liquidated there. I don't think it's going to work. State persecution generally doesn't, but it's a bit sad, uh, kind of tragic to even try. So let me see here and just repost that. Okay. Yep, I'm just putting this out there. Yeah, no need, not related to True Orthodox News, says MC Chili. Okay, so I'm not going to put that up there. There is a poll. I am wondering if I'm going to start doing these more often during the week. Should I make one of them like should I make them members only after the stream, like the weekday streams? Like in other words, like because a lot of people watch this live, and so my point is, if you're not a live watcher, I was thinking give more value to members because I really want to do that. Yet, sad day for Bulgarian Orthodoxy. 100% agree. But hopefully they'll get through it. They've fought through lots of different things since the 1960s. So, because the True Orthodox Church of Bulgaria was founded in 68. So let me see here. Okay. If you're wondering what that weird sound is, apparently the dog has gotten her hands on what appears to be the top of a spray can. Yeah, Big Sosa says, so wait, are the True Orthodox not recognized legally by the Bulgarian government? I'm going to include a link to this, but yeah, that's basically what they're trying to do. They're deregistering them effectively and trying to liquidate them. So when people say, oh, True Orthodox aren't really like they're not really being persecuted. They're complaining and stuff. Oh, Unseen Warfare is here. Welcome. Hold on one moment. Welcome, Unseen.
Your blessing, Father. How you
May
doing?
God, benedicite, if you will. God
Benedice.
bless you in the name of the Father, and the Holy
Yeah.
Spirit. Okay, so I have put that in a link. I will put that on the X stream as well if you want to see the article itself. Um, it's pretty sad, but when you hear people saying, "Okay," and Denise with a member chat sends praying hands. Okay, and MC Chili says, "I will believe the stream's up unless you believe there's some benefit to making them private." Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I'll look at the poll. My guess is it's probably gonna feel similar. So yeah, this article is there. Father Boniface with a member chat, benedicite, benedicite, Father. And so yeah, this is crazy times happening now. So let's see here. Uh, yeah, John MC says the use of the word liquidate, especially in Eastern Europe, has a sinister overtone. It absolutely does, but that's what they're doing, and that's the word they're using. I mean, that's the legal term they're going to do, and liquidate.
Yeah,
This is
I
shameful.
remember when initially Subdeacon had posted an article on that, and it's just legal jargon to deal with an enemy or something. That's what I
Yeah,
came out of it. It was really crazy.
that's what. Yeah, exactly. Basically it's let's see. Big Sosa says, do they see them as sort of being a counterfeit of the world orthodoxy? Well, that's really what it comes down to, is it's all branding with these people. And so, of course their attitude is that is offering a counterfeit Christianity. Well, we would argue that the new calendarists are offering a counterfeit Christianity, but that's the crux of the problem. Is that when we're talking about this level of malevolence, I mean, the Old Calendar Bulgarian Church was in communion with the Rokor for years. They're in communion with the Rokor Agafungal now. There's no logical reason to do this except the state is playing a preference, and so that's shameful, and we should call it out. And when people say, "Oh, persecution doesn't really happen in Detroit," send them this article. Tell them, okay, ask them what this means, and they won't have an explanation, or they'll switch on and say, "Oh, well, yeah, you deserve it." Well, now at that point, you've accepted kind of you've accepted your role as the spiritual children of those who persecuted the new martyrs. And I didn't always think that way. I used to think maybe people were more well-meaning than that, but I've seen more things even now that indicate that yeah, a lot of people really do feel that way.
Archbishop
All right.
Paverki's got an article called Three Stages of Apostasy, and he makes a statement. He says outward officialness doesn't always equal truth. That
Yeah,
it could be inward falsity, and Satan uses that to lead people astray. And I think that's a perfect example of that.
I
Really,
agree. Yeah, definitely. I think Archbishop Baverki, of blessed memory, is spot
right, right.
on that one. Let me see here. So that was the biggest news that I just heard. I just got today, and that's 2 days ago. So this is pretty shameful. Um, but this is how World Orthodoxy acts. They use the state as a weapon. This has happened in Russia. Many of the True Orthodox churches and many historical Russian churches that the True Orthodox volunteered to take care of were taken away, and not to make new Moscow Patriarch parishes. Sometimes it was just out of spite, just close it down. The church that I used to attend when I was in Russia was one of those churches. It went from when I saw hundreds of believers and happy people joyously at liturgy and um, chanting and everything, and then to just see it. I moved back to America by then, but then to learn it was just closed down and turned into basically a tourist site with business hours is horrifying. But that's the reality we live in. Orthodox Traditionalist Publications has got here just in time. Great, welcome. Big so says, I've been more curious recently on the history of how politics affect the presence of the church within the state's borders, such as how Monophysites are considered quote unquote Orthodox in some nations. I think the only nation that would probably be, I guess, well, in those countries, remember that we're talking, and I assume we're talking about Egypt, we're talking about Ethiopia, Eritrea, if you want to count that. We're talking about Armenia, and we're talking about like Iran. Well, Iran's with the Nestorians, but yeah, it's pretty sad, pretty sad. But yeah, it's some of it's national politics, and there's a lot that's gone on, but uh, we're part of that. In the end, that is something that we have to deal with. Whether you're in Greece, you're in Russia, how True Orthodox continue to exist and continue to proclaim the faith will be affected by how the government sees you. I remember when I think it was, I want to say like 10 years ago, there was a point where the Russian government basically said anyone who's not part of the Moscow Patriarchate should be considered a terrorist. That
Wow.
was crazy. Yeah, and that was some crazy times there, and that caused a lot of complaints, etc. And eventually, they, from what I understand, they scaled it back considerably. Let me see here. Luke Blazovich says, "Why are Pharisees so deceptive?" Um, oh, because they're Pharisees.
Because they're of
Orthodox
their
Church is
father,
called.
the devil, I think,
Yeah, exactly. What does the devil mean? Diabolos. It's a slanderer. Um, OTP says, "I just started writing my next book on the Antiochian Patriarchate and the Monophysites. Ooh, that's gonna be a stinger. I bet you that one. That'll definitely be a shocker. So looking forward to that. All right, so let us remove this and let's see here. Okay, so we've been on now for about 15 minutes, and I will first off say that again, it is our live Q&A session. So if you want to jump on the stream or ask a question or make a comment, just click the link in the top of the chat. Okay, so also I'm sure that a lot of people are concerned and wondering. I did mention that we got the car back on Thursday's stream. And so now we just have the massive debt to deal with. A lot of people sent support. So I'm actually going to put this on as maybe I should put this on as like a separate thing. Give me a second. I think I will actually. Um, because I'm going to just put goal. Okay, 1 second. Current 0. So save that, and so right now I'm going to put the regular goal at 500. Our current, we're at 0 because we just started 15 minutes ago, but I'm also going to create a new banner, and I'm going to just add that, and this is where we are now. Basically, it was about $3,400 after I had put together a lot of the money that was donated with a lot of kindness. It went over 1,000, I think, on Tuesday. Right now we have 900 towards the goal, so the car goal is currently 2,500, and basically our goal is to pay that off within 90 days, or we'll start seeing psychotic interest rates, which will then be horrifying. But in any case, help keep the lights on. Subscribe or by support us by subscribing or donating at NFTU.net with various options like PayPal, Cash App, BTC, LTC, or XMR, or on Give Send Go. Just look in the description box. Give me 1 second. That reminds me of something else. And I see a new comment. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna. OTB says we're gonna look at what they say about us. Absolutely. And Black White sent an Orthodox cross. Very nice. And let's continue. I do
If
have
I'm
to
not
quickly.
mistaken, too, with the Monophysites and these types,
Mhm.
historically they've done things like this, like lobby to get the officials to be on their side, and sometimes they would send the Orthodox, like ban them from whatever kingdom they were in, and put them on the outskirts somewhere, and then a
Yeah, well,
couple
that
generations
was
they come back.
sometimes what they did. Hold on. Um, Let me see here. Yeah, that was something that was done, but it was usually towards heretics. And this is where we were in a unique period where a lot of the state apparatus are focused on protecting the heretics. Now, that's not always true. Like, for example, I know that in Greece there have been movements like to switch the recognized church as the True Orthodox Church of Greece. So there's still in this ugly democratic process some good possibility that there's ways to help fix it and to see what they can do to improve it
Right.
and
If
create
I'm
now
not
grant.
mistaken, that's the whole reason why Esfigmento is still kind of all right, because they've got people,
Oh yeah, they have
vouching for
they
them
have
in some way.
massive. They have support from the supporters group of PAOK, which is the largest soccer club in Greece. They hold banners for Esfigmenou during the games.
Right.
Esfigmenou enjoys widespread Greek support, so it's not as easy for the government to go in and do something to them. So that's granted they did block the road, so that's going to make it harder. But
Right.
they're troopers, and so they will find a way to survive, God willing. And that's where I think that is. And then in Russia, it's still not the best situation to be true Orthodox. In Western Europe and America, it's irrelevant. They basically it's the question of who has the connections with what, and it's just doing church better.
I was
So
reading an old article. It was about Roak and the Moscow Patriarchate, kind of attacking them and stealing property and doing all types of
yeah,
crazy stuff.
they're still trying to do that. Yeah,
Oh,
but I
sure.
think they've taken as much as I think they can get for now.
Yeah,
Um,
crazy.
And then let me think here. But yeah, in like Western Europe and America, like the door is open. Like this is honestly it's like a game of Othello. You could just flip the pieces, and then it's just a matter of who's in charge now. Like right now, things are looking really great for Metropolitan Demetrius. Archbishop Luke of Jordanville basically just said, it's probably better to be under him than to be under the Greek Archdiocese. Like there are people who will listen to that and may actually take action on that. So one thing to keep in mind is that this situation could turn at any time in the U.S.
Yeah,
In
Bishop Luke
Indonesia,
seems to consistently say good things about true Orthodox, from what I've heard. And their people
he's
don't
the
know how
only
to
one
react
left
to
to
that.
him.
Like they're like, "What do you mean?" Like,
He's the
because
only one left that remembers them. That
right,
when they
yeah,
were in communion, the rest of them that remember it don't want to remember it, and they're hoping to bury his memory.
yeah,
Um,
sure.
yeah. So, and then in Indonesia, the official Orthodox Church is True Orthodox. It's actually part of the GOC Clinico. So, the world is a very different place. So to see this appellate court try to do this is kind of insane. Like this is like really so 1990s behavior. It's actually terrible. Let me see here. Give me just a moment. I want to stop that screen and then let's see. So again, it is our live Q&A session. So if anyone wants to jump on the stream to ask a question or make a comment, just click the link in the top of the chat. If you want to issue a debate challenge, if you want to challenge, orthodoxy or tell us why we're wrong, because that's the beauty of this is that we're actually getting like really good viewer counts on these new shows, especially with X. And you would expect that these guys who talk so much smack would actually show up, but they never do, which is a constant source of joy and amusement for me. So let's see what do we got here in the comments.
They
Memento
like
Mori is
they like
uh,
spaces where the information can't be shared to refute them.
yeah,
That's what it seems like to me.
yeah, they're cowards. We know, and we can call them out as cowards right here on this lovely program and on this lovely platform. Memento Mori asks, Father, who said about switching under Metropolitan Demetrius rather than being under the EP? Was it a World Orthodox person? Yeah, it's Archbishop Luke of Jordanville, um, who has actually blessed people to leave and go to the GOC clinicos. So yeah, that's actually a real thing. And I'm sure that the rest of the Rocore MP Senate are like, we just wish he would shut up and stop talking already, and etc. So they're just banking on the historical erasure taking place in time, but it doesn't seem to be working out that way. As more and more people keep showing interest, we got to do something. So that is kind of let me see here. kind of what I have so far. Um, and how are you doing today, Unseen? Are you working on any video series or anything?
Well, I was supposed to. I have like all the information gathered, and I've just like keep pushing it back because I don't know. The last one I did, I felt good about it, and I want to, kind of one up what I did last time or something. That's my thought behind it. So,
Yeah.
but go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say Orthodox Traditionalist Publication says, "How is the reading of the letters going for you? God willing, I will actually read them this week. Um, it's just been a really, really awful week. Um, as you can probably guess. But in any case, I'm definitely going to. I'm pretty much finished with the 1620 book. Finally, and I'll finally get to the letters, God willing, this week.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that book looks interesting. I think you're talking about the
that's
Gregory
this.
Grabe.
He's referring to this book right here. And that is. I, I knew I was forgetting something.
Yeah, I
Uh,
need to get a copy of this. I forgot about it,
yeah,
honestly.
it's in their own words. The private letters of Saint Philaret of New York and Bishop Gregory Grabe. It is available on the Orthodox Traditionalist website for sale, and I haven't read it yet, but I assume I'm going to highly recommend it because I'm a very big fan of both the writings of Saint Philaret and the writings of Bishop Gregory Grabe, all of which have characteristic zeal for orthodoxy and erudition in the past and in the knowledge of the church's history and tradition. Orthodox Traditionalist Publications says, I'll send you the service and the new FSB KGB book when they come out next week. All right. Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to it. I still have to, I have books to review that I am getting to. And so,
Especially
oh
with
man.
Bishop Gregory Grabe, like that stuff is like much needed context. I know just like skimming through that type of stuff, a lot of the claims that the World Orthodox make, he refutes them. And
Yeah,
if I'm not
he does.
mistaken, wasn't Bishop Gregory Grabe like St. Philaret's right hand man in Rocor?
He was the secretary of the synod for a while until the early '80s when they attempted to implicate his son in a corruption scandal in the Holy Land.
Right. Yeah. Crazy.
And that led to him going, I believe, to his son going to the Greeks, and Bishop Gregory kind of taking more of a hard line towards the Free Russian Church that was forming, which would eventually become like Roac and Artak, etc. Um, so he actually, if I remember correctly, went and celebrated with Metropolitan Valentine shortly before his death. Um, so
Mm.
his repose. Let me see here. Also, if anyone can link in the cafe an Akathis to St. Philaret the New Confessor, if anyone has one in English. Yeah, I don't even have one. I'm just using the general. I would just use a general Manan for now, but unfortunately, one should be written. Oh wait, OTP says Memento. I know someone working on that now. That would be really handy. I think. Definitely because I would want one.
Why do I feel like I've seen that around or something though? Like,
There are some Akathis to St. Philaret, but I have never seen one in English. I've seen a few of them in Russian, or
right.
Slavonic, I should say. And
I'll check around. I might have something. I don't know, but I'm not going to promise it. I don't remember it right
okay,
off,
well,
but I
God
might.
willing, God willing. Yeah, OTP says it exists in Russian, Slavonic. Yeah, it does. I've seen that. But let me see here what else we've got going on. Um, so basically, as always, we're going into the 30th minute of the first hour, and just to remind folks, I will say this: currently, I'm setting up the goal as 500. We're at zero so far. And again, the car goal at this point is 2,500. We're currently at 900, which I will be putting into payments to these loan sharks, God willing, tomorrow or the next day. So that's where we are, and we're continuing on.
You mentioned Destiny earlier. Someone sent me some information that like his people were in Utah during the whole Kirk thing, and I don't know, like there were some connections made that maybe the person that they've got a hold of was a part of their whole shindig. I don't know,
You
but
mean the murder of Charlie Kirk?
yes, yeah, right.
Wow,
Uh,
that would actually be awful. I mean, at this point, we have to accept that even though we're like pointing to these people as streamer lol cows, I mean they are organizing effectively as violent insurgent communists. They've got the ideology and they have the weapons. So at that point, I don't I take them a little bit seriously.
I do too,
Um,
and there's such a thing as like stochastic terrorism, and
oh
like
yeah, that
you
technically
know
they use that
where
on us first, but
where it's like you're pushing an ideology to where the general population, there's going to be a percentage of people who might react to this extreme, these extreme political takes and end up doing something crazy because they're insane, so
oh, thank you. I just hold on. Just got a donation. Thank you so much. It starts here with today. We start with D, and that was for $5. So thank you so much for helping keep the lights on and helping save the car thing. And so I'm gonna put that up there. So we are now down to $4.95 for the week, and it's off to a good start. Thank you so much for helping keep the lights on, D, and I am putting that up. Bada bing. And so, in any case, thank you for that. And so let's continue. And let's see. Let me go here and let's see. This is Indruifest Lachen. If I pronounced that, I probably didn't pronounce that right. What do we know about the Patriarch of Alexandria sending delegates to the Fourth Lateran Council in the mid 1200s? Did they view it as a local council of a church that they still thought of as Orthodox? Was it the Orthodox Patriarch of Alexandria or one of the other ones like the Coptic Patriarch? I have no idea. I haven't heard that. Certainly, it's not recognized by the Orthodox now. So that could have just been miscommunication, not realizing what was going on, realizing what was happening, and then leaving. So we got to give some leeway to people who might have been misled because they didn't know what was happening. But obviously they don't consider it Orthodox now. And they haven't since. So my guess is they never really recognized it. Maybe they had to see it to believe it. That would be my guess. Let's see here. Once again, just to remind everyone, it is live Q&A. So if you have a question, you want to jump on stream, ask a question, make a comment, tell me I'm stupid, feel free to click the link in the top of the chat and we'll get going and have a discussion. So thank you for that. And let's continue on. Let's see. So what were you saying about you had just done a stream that was you did a stream that was I guess you did pretty good and you wanted to one up it or
I'd translated a text. It's called Russia's Crown of Thorns, Volume 7,
okay.
um, uh, from Russian into English, and I started reading from that and a couple other places, and it went pretty well, I thought. It was nothing too crazy. Um, but yeah, I have some material gathered together, like a lot of stuff that's been like memory hold on the Internet Archive, and different little snippets and quotes, and the theme is going to be sort of like a Russia's Golgotha, but America's Golgotha. That's the theme, because I
Hmm.
think there was a Saint Ignatius of Harbin who talked about today in Russia, tomorrow in America.
Right.
So that whole prophecy.
Well, glory to God. It sounds interesting and I hope it works out I hope it works out well. So we'll see. Let me see here. And so let's continue on. I'm just moving along. We got another comment. Yeah, glory to God. Okay, yeah. Glory to God for their labor and working on that. Absolutely. I think I read that. Um, Daniel Angloy says, "Can you address two rumors? Um, what are the rumors? I can address them, but what are the rumors? What are you growling about? I don't want your snack. Anyway, number one, Saint John of San Francisco placing soup on his mustache. Um, I mean, I never heard that.
Me
I mean, I
either.
could maybe he had a logic behind it. He wanted to like get better control. I mean, this is a problem I have with my mustache. So I mean, if you put like a little broth on it, maybe that will. I mean, to me, it doesn't sound like a very big deal. It sounds like a quirk, and I don't really know why he would do that. But I can see as someone with a mustache, a person doing that for a number of reasons. But I am not aware of them. What was the second one? Does it say soup or does it say soap? And I'm just blind. No, it says soup. Okay. Uh, Daniel Angler says Bishop Leonti of Chile praying with Catholics in Venezuela. I think I know what that's a reference to, because I've seen that. It was actually distributed even recently. I saw this mentioned in a few different places where it was mentioned that he was at a panajida with a bunch of Latin Catholics. Now, the picture shows that these are completely vested Latins, Roman Catholics that he is apparently attending with. But that's when I got confused because Roman Catholics don't do panahidas; they do memorial masses. Now, if the memorial massing is true, that's much worse. And if it wasn't a memorial mass and it was some kind of state function, then it might be a given that he was expected to show up and it was a political event. Um, we don't have much background on that picture, and the earliest pictures that I can find all still have the red arrow, meaning that they were already used for propaganda purposes. I just don't know enough about that.
No, wasn't it true that Bishop Leonti of Chile sort of would go around and pull out Roman Catholic relics and different things from the garbage? Someone was throwing them away. Is that who I'm thinking of, or was it somebody else doing that?
I thought St. John did that because
Oh,
St.
okay.
John
St.
was
John might
finding
have.
relics all over. I mean,
Yeah,
it's possible. It's possible Bishop Leonti was. I just haven't
yeah. I'm
heard
trying to
that.
like figure out like why what the mentality probably would have been behind something like that. And a lot of times with a photograph, I know like you mentioned the Indonesian GOCK earlier, like they'll bring up a photograph of this guy at some sort of get together and say, look, he's an ecumenist, and he's just sitting down, at like a council, or a festival of some sort. You know what I
Well, I
mean?
mean,
So
I try to be charitable about stuff like that because the simple reality is that, our communities have gone through a lot.
right,
And
yeah.
so they're naturally kind of suspicious and stuff like that.
Well, I
If
think with World Orthodox, like they're looking for any little thing to be like, look, see,
Yeah, they're
uh,
looking for any excuse to equivocate, which is why they don't say anything because they don't have that excuse yet. Liz Photo says whenever anyone hears I'm an inquirer, they bring up the Roman Catholic Church. Besides the obvious Pope, what are some other differences? Are icons and saints the same? Purgatory? I don't know much. Okay, so there's a few differences. First off, if you go to a Uniate church, those are designed to not show differences. Big differences, instead of icons, a lot of the time they use statues, very animated looking ones. We could talk about that, but the real difference is in the doctrine of the papacy. There was no mandate from the church, and we're going to actually discuss this more in a debate I will be doing November 7th. Just a quick reminder, new style, with Elijah Yassi on the papacy. The papacy is the central defining doctrine of its own religion. If you study Catholicism, you'll realize that they have Catholics that look like Orthodox. They have ashrams that for like Catholic Hindus. Like it's crazy. The only thing that unites these people is literal union with the Pope, and that is not the structure of the church. Purgatory, we believe in the toll houses, is a better way of putting it, the Telonia in the scriptures, which means that as the person is going to heaven, they are confronted by their own sins. It's a part of the particular judgment. But yeah, so I would say that there's they have different saints which reveal a different spirituality. One good example is if you compare our saints who are focused primarily on their glorification, on becoming united to the Holy Spirit, Roman Catholic practices can sometimes seem a little weird, including self flagellation and stuff like that, which they're trying to get away from. So but it is still part of their historical kind of past. Let me see here. MC Chili says flavor saver. I assume that's about the mustache thing. All right, so let's take a look here. And once again, just a reminder to everyone that if you want to jump on the stream to ask a question or make a comment, just click the link in the top of the chat. As long as it's not something that's going to get me TOS'd, any questions pretty much on the table. So feel free. Let me see here. We got another comment. Let's take a look. Yep, MZ Chili says correct. Okay, so we're doing good here so far. I guess I can take a look to see what this poll I created says, because let's see here.
I got something on a major difference that's kind of short. With the papacy, this is what I always bring up. So it's Saint Gregory the Great. At the beginning of the century, he said, "Whoever calls himself a bishop above all bishops, or a universal bishop, is the forerunner of the Antichrist." And then you got, Hildebrand or Pope Gregory. He says, "And so I am by the will of Almighty God and the Bishop of Rome, the universal bishop, the bishop above all bishops, the only deputy of Christ on earth." So from my perspective, it looks like the Orthodox saints have this humility, whereas the Roman Catholics seem to be a bit prideful or deluded in ways.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Daniel Langlois asks, "What is it that the most strictest Matthewites want from other true Orthodox in order to be in communion with them?" I would probably defer you to a Matthewite, since that wouldn't be fair for me to answer on their behalf. Leonidas with a member chat. What about pre-union Rokor can celebrating with Bishop Amphilochiae of the Belgrade Patriarchate? I know that's he was kind of more of an exception. I know that in general the Rokor relations with the Serbians until probably the late 1980s, early 1990s were actually historically quite poor. After they hosted them in Serbia, they were grateful. Because remember, Rokor first formed in Serbia. So let me see here. And so, yep. Denise says, yep. And Leonidas answers, the strictest Matthewites don't want to have anything to do with other true Orthodox. And that's true, unfortunately. And I think it's not just the Matthewites. The strictest and some Russian groups also want nothing to do with other true Orthodox. You have to be patient. Everyone has suffered massive levels of persecution. I mean, think of how we started this show. The Bulgarian government's about to liquidate the old calendar Bulgarians. So it's understandable that many true Orthodox would be suspicious. It does, it's everything. While I appreciate the zeal on many converts' part to be like, what can we do to unite the church? We're broken people. We're trying to build, and we preach the gospel, but we have taken a beating over the past 100 years. And so we're just getting started, and so it's understandable why. Let me see here. Oh, we got this.
Aren't we united
George,
in the Eucharist, though, mystically, to the body of Christ?
Yeah, so because we are united by faith in Christ, we don't worry too much about formal union. George Niarchos says, so do you think St. Joseph the Hesychast was a saint? Yes, I do. And no, I don't think he was in communion with the new commemorators. His life story is controversial because there are two different versions of it, one held by the Zealots, the True Orthodox, and one held by the World Orthodox, who try to make him sound like he's like Elder Ephraim reloaded. Liz Photo asks, are the holy people of the Old Testament saints? Yes. And as a matter of fact, we do make icons for various Old Testament saints like the prophet Moses, Elias, etc. George Niarco says, why did the zealots of Katanakia and the desert from Athos disappear and are back in communion? I'm not the right person to ask on that because I am not an expert on Athos, but I will say that a lot of the framing around the zealots who then became commemorators is never that simple. In the 1970s, the ecumenical patriarch had introduced the new Holy Mountain Fathers. These were new abbots that were placed in charge over many of the previously zealot monasteries, where they were told to commemorate the patriarch, and that's how it's going to stay. Which then affected a lot of the mentality and spirituality on Mount Athos, which is why Esphigmenou is considered the true holdout, along with a few skeets. That to compromise says uniting the church is Christ and the Holy Spirit's job, not ours. 100% true. How do we explain the oneness of the church while we're broken into various feuding synods? How can we claim Eucharistic communion when some synods receive bichrysmation? And that's in Treuefest Lachen asks, again, all I can say is that it was considerably worse 20 years ago. The majority of true Orthodox throughout the world are in communion with other true Orthodox throughout the world. I don't think, focusing on external unity when our focus needs to be unity in faith, which is the Orthodox method of unity, is the most important thing we can do rather than worry about what other people think of us. Because I must say this, no matter how many different ways the question is addressed, the truth is the underlying motivation of that question is, what will others think of us? When you stop worrying about what others care about and what Christ worries about, it's not even something that pops up on the radar.
Right. And, there's something that I always try to make this distinction when I talk about this with other people, is that there's a distinction between the church militant and the church triumphant. So the church triumphant is one, and it's perfect, and there's no separation within, like, an institutional level where there's little breaks and different things.
Yep.
But the church militant has always dealt with these type of situations where you would have saints in different synods that wouldn't be in communion, but yet they were both, saints.
Yeah, exactly.
There's also like prophecies from like Saint Anatolia of Optina, where he's like, the Russian ship will be destroyed. It'll happen. People can be saved on splinters and wreckage. Not all will perish. Which he says near at a certain point, these splinters would join together and the ship would be rebuilt.
Yep.
There's something in the scripture, and it's Saint Paul, and he's on a ship. You know what I'm talking about? And St. Paul's on this ship, and Christ saves St. Paul and the members on this ship, but they're not saved on a ship. They're saved on splinters from the ship. So that's sort of the analogy that the saints use about this kind of.
Yeah, that was brought up with Saint Basil, who uses a similar analogy in his
Right.
letters. George Niarchos says, if he didn't go back into communion, why did Saint Ephrem of Katanokia stop during liturgy for him when they supposedly went back into communion in New Skeet? It looks like Leonidas is actually answering. So Denise with 100% father, and I'll put up Leonidas's answer. St. Joseph Synodia was in communion with the commemorators, but elders Ephrem and Haralambos did not commemorate the patriarch during liturgies. Plus, on top of that, that is a member chat, which is why we put it up. Elder Nicoforos, elder from Spiritual Father, was a strict zealot, so he probably didn't want his disciples celebrating with him. George Niarca says, that's not my question. I said, why St. Ephrem of Katanakia, not Arizona, stopped doing their liturgies when they went with the monasteries. We know with his elder Nicoforos stayed with a zealot. Zealots. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not an expert on Mount Athos, and so I don't necessarily believe you. Like, that may be rude. I'm sorry, but if you're a new calendarist defending new calendarists, I don't have to assume your honesty. Like, if you approached me honestly without a gotcha that from something I have no idea about, then I don't see a reason to answer you. I would probably suggest talking with True Orthodox people, Greeks who know the situation better than I do. Let me see here. Liz Photo says, why do the Protestants seem to romanticize the Jews, and how are the Orthodox different in this? Very different. One of the things that we realize as Orthodox is that, the Old Testament church was awaiting salvation. So what that means is that we would see the saints and patriarchs of the Old Testament as our own. Protestants by nature, because they don't automatically see things in terms of a stream of tradition from the Old Testament to the New, and don't trust Orthodox or even Orthodox and Roman Catholic conceptions of things like where the tomb of Christ is. They will oftentimes, to get some sort of understanding of what the original meaning of the scriptures is to refer back to the Jews. And ironically, that would be a different religion because it was basically Phariseeism, whereas the Jews, for the most part, did temple worship. So that's part of the reason why they do that. But then it's kind of historical feedback, because then Protestants with their empty churches, ironically, then affected the synagogue, which used to be well decorated and is now looks more like a Protestant church. So you have a historical feedback loop that's happening, which is actually removing them further from tradition. So I hope that helps.
And
Uh,
I've been looking into like a little bit of this history too. A lot of the Protestant reformers were meeting up in Masonic lodges, because they seen that they would get some form of help from the Masons in some way.
mhm.
So they become Masons, and a lot of those people in those lodges would be Jays, and
Yeah.
it seems like there was an influence going on there between the Jays and the early Protestant reformers.
Well, I think we can just use the term Jew. I'm pretty sure on stream.
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't. Yeah.
gotcha. Sorry.
It's not like we're like hurling invective or anything. We're just noting historical connections between communities. So there is a
Right.
historical
I don't know.
Jewish
I
and
usually try
and
to like
Masonic, yeah,
make
connection.
sure I'm not like saying something to get your stream time taken down or something. I
All
don't
right,
know.
what's this? Trish C. I don't even know how to pronounce. Okay, well, they were welcome. You can always come back. I have no idea who that was. In True Fest und Laken says, when and why did Antioch, Jerusalem, and Alexandria become controlled by Greeks, many residing in Constantinople and never taking their sees instead of the local clergy? Um, Part of that is there's some history behind this. Because what happened was that after the Council of Florence, and you're talking about the situations like the Unia, um, they couldn't actually put bishops for the local flock, and there was also attempts at propagandization. Remember, Antioch's synod was primarily native at the Union of 1724, um, and so ultimately, what's the word I'm looking for? Those native-born bishops apostatized to Roman Catholicism. And so it was Saint Sylvester of Antioch, I believe he's a saint, who went to Constantinople and got, the episcopate and began restoring Orthodox sees. So that's the reason why. So there's history to it, and then you have the Brotherhood of the Holy Sepulchre, etc., and that it kind of became centralized. And while the Russian Empire was able to fix that for the Antiochian Synod, they were not able to fix that. Well, Alexandria now is different, but and Jerusalem is slowly changing. So that's something that happens over time. George Niarco says, do you think it's okay for Esphigmenou to ordain priests without a bishop? I don't think anyone in Esphigmenou would be okay with that. That sounds weird. Leonida says, bishops do ordain their priest, as I suspected. George Niarco says, which bishops? They aren't under a synod. Leonida said, GOCK bishops, they were in communion up until 2022. Yeah, and that's fine. Basically, one thing to remember is that a monastery is a monastery. So if they're commemorating all Orthodox bishops, I mean, technically they're doing the world a favor. But some people were not happy that they decided to do that. But it's praying for everyone, so we could definitely use it. And there's a lot of true Orthodox bishops. So, let me
Seems
see
like the
here.
letter kills and the spirit gives life, and
Yeah, and then
someone
there's
stuck on
there's
the letter.
proofs. He's saying there's proof Saint Ephrem Catechinakia can celebrate where there were moderate zealots. No bishop ordained their abbot. An abbot is not ordained; he is elected. Um, and then he can be blessed by the bishop to be. He can be blessed as an abbot by the bishop, but yeah, what you're saying doesn't make sense here. Luciano says, "How do we become Orthodox if there's no true church anywhere near us?" This is a common question. We do get that every week. Um, like what? The best thing that you can do, if you are familiar with Orthodox services, if you're not, you should probably learn about that on YouTube. But getting to learn the prayers of the services, I recommend there is, learning what Typica is and finding the closest true Orthodox priest. There are directories. About 2 episodes ago, if you look in the live, if you look in the description, there are 2 maps of true Orthodox churches throughout the world that you'd be surprised at how many true Orthodox churches might actually be near you. We did have one guy call in and he was like, I don't know where to find the church, and there were 5 of them around him. So, or the pirate says, Liz Photo, where are you? Okay, Liz Photo says Ocala, Florida. Oh, there's stuff in Florida. There's the Dormition True Orthodox Church in Clearwater. Our Father Boniface, who sometimes comes on, is going to North Florida, but he was in Lakeland. Yeah. There's Orthodox in Florida. True Orthodox, they're in Florida. There's quite a few of them. So you definitely want to look for the directory. Obedient Father he says, Father, have you watched the series Sophia about Grand Princess of Moscow, Sophia Paleologina? Also, do you have a favorite biblical film that generally moved you? Yeah, or the pirate says Florida, gang, because he's North Florida, so yeah, you'd be surprised. Obedient, I not only have watched that series, I have been recommending that series for about 2 years. It's fantastic. I loved every minute of it. I watched the episodes repeatedly. Um, it's totally worth it. I highly recommend it for a lot of people. Do I have a favorite biblical film that genuinely moved me? That's an interesting question. I want to say probably it's a toss up between The Passion of the Christ and The Greatest Story Ever Told. Um, unless you mean moving me to laughter, in which case I would say Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon was probably and accidentally one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. Let's see here. What part of North Florida is Father Boniface? I think he's looking in the Defuniac Springs area. And so that's towards the Panhandle. George Niarco says, also, why do you believe in rebaptism when ecumenical councils disagree? I don't believe in rebaptism. I believe in one baptism, but I also believe in the Rocor Distinctive from 1971, which correctly pointed out that the behavior of heterodox groups in terms of how they handle baptism has made us more cautious in simply accepting those baptisms. So using caution, that is why we do not recognize the baptism of the heretics. I am not talking about Orthodox baptism at all. Yeah, and let me see here. John Taylor Harden says, Liz Photo, I'm in Bellevue, Florida, next to Ocala. My priest is Father Boniface. Okay. So as you can see, there's stuff going on in Florida. Florida's got, it's got some coverage. This is good deal. This is a good deal. South Florida still needs a little work, but we're getting there. We're gonna get there. Everyone's trying something. And Abbott doesn't need an ordination. Well, he has to get tonsured. But the whole point is that let me see here. What would you say to my husband who's having the hardest time converting because of the fasts against meat? This is this photo. His sister told him, "Don't let a cow keep you out of heaven." Um, well, yeah, I mean, I can understand the frustration. And so I would say that even though you can't eat meat, there's often things that you can eat that are protein if you're a big protein person, and there are of course substitutes as well. Um, I say don't think about the time you can't eat meat. Treasure the time you do. If you do that and you look at it that way, then you'll realize that most weeks, especially we're not even going to have a fast until basically after Thanksgiving. It's just Wednesday and Friday. So, just you know, try different things. Wait, hold on. Hold on a second. Give me just a moment. Let's continue on. And what's this? Okay, thank you. Wow, this is awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. 1 second, as I'm going to note this. Let's go to the banners and let's edit. And thank you, SM, for that extremely generous $100 donation, putting us on the board at 105 and bringing that goal down to 395, meaning that if we can get just 270 more dollars, we will keep the stream on longer because right now we are at 9:30, I think it is. Yeah, 9:30. So we're going to go till 10:30, but as you can see, thanks to SM, we are now at 105. If we can get to 375, I will keep this going until 11, and if we break the goal of 500, I will keep this going till 11:30. And then after that, if you want to keep me on longer, it might get a little trickier. But thank you so much for helping keep the lights on, helping with the car. As I've mentioned earlier, right now, the car goal is 2,500, and the current goal is 900. Which that's what we have right now. That's a post collection sort of setup that I'm doing here. So thank you so much for helping keep the lights on. And let's go here. And also, just a reminder. Every show is cafe time. If you are trying to get registered at afrosinuscafe.com, which is at this point the most exclusive True Orthodox forum in the world because it is so attacked by spammers and bots that I am just being very, very careful in letting anyone in. But if you are trying to get on the cafe and you have a username or you're setting one up, just reach out to me in the chat and I will set you up live.
What do you think that's about?
What?
What do you think that's about? Like all the spam bots? Is it just
Oh no, it's
happens?
definitely it's a coordinated attack. I mean, we got hit with a DDoS like 2 months ago.
Oh,
Yeah, but it only lasted for a day because our webmaster is really, really smart.
yeah, that's crazy. That and there's other websites. Like I know, Vladimir Moss has a website that seemed to have been attacked by the DDoS attack for like a month. Like you couldn't, get
Yeah,
to that
they're
information.
really desperate to cover up the information, especially
Right.
in places like Russia, and in places like Bulgaria where they're doing stuff like this.
For this George person, I have a feeling he's with GoArch, right?
Okay.
There's something that they've been trying to cover up. Now, this was a new calendar website that in Greek. You go there and you find out Bartholomew is accepting funds from the Templars and blessing Templar rituals and doing things
Wow,
like that. Isn't that
that's
strange?
crazy.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Let's see. George Niarco says, "Why do you appeal to an irrelevant row core council? What brings validity to a baptism outside the church? Uh, you can't have a baptism outside the church. That's precisely why your awful ecumenism has done so much damage to the concept of ecclesiology. What it actually does is it destroys the concept of the church. So you're welcome to come on the stream and join and ask. I'll be glad to talk to you about it." Denise says that's retarded. Get over it, is what I'd say. I agree. That is retarded. I think she's talking about George. I don't know, maybe. Dan Forey says, Father Joseph, I will personally request Archbishop Elpidophorus to baptize you. Oh no, I'm sure that he would be glad to do it and have that live streamed so that I could see his weak baptismal game right in front of me, and you'll probably screw it up, and then he'll like put a rainbow flag on it. I don't know. The
Him and
point is
Nicholas
that
Laus, you know, the
yeah,
guy that wrote the book on Memphis Misrium, you said that was a great book on new politics or whatever it was.
yeah. I'm amazed that Archbishop Luke just basically said to go to Metropolitan Demetrius and leave Archbishop Elpidopoulos, and I think he means you for that too. Um, Let me see. Ortho Byron says, Dan Ford, will that take place before or after the gay couple baptisms? Yeah, I mean, you gotta be kidding me, guy. You guys gotta be kidding me. Like, you can't be serious. But if you are serious, I'm terrified for you, and I hope you're okay. Again, this is our live Q&A session, so if you want to jump on the stream, you can. Just just click the link in the top of the chat. Say hello. Tell me I'm wrong, or tell me ask questions. Yeah. Yeah, Lindorf versus thanks, Taylor. I will email. Yeah. Great. Good to hear there. Good work, John. All right, so let's continue on. Let's see here. Did we have what else yeah. Let's see here before so he can watch. I don't know, Dan. If you want to jump on the stream, if you have a comment, feel free. But as long as oh yeah, more of a brethren says call in George. I'm Protestants, and it's totally encouraged to disagree if that's your position. Welcome back, Matthew. I haven't seen you in a while. A lot of people were wondering if you were okay. If you were okay, so welcome back. And that's cool that you've endorsed our thing here. But let's see. Yep, or the pirate says, Matthew, long time no see. Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, we're a community here, guys. We all know each other a little bit, guys. Okay, guys. All right. Let's see here. And so yeah, this is so far we're doing okay. We are now in the we're now 6 minutes into the second hour. So yeah, brother from a Protestant mother. That's funny. Okay. These are all member chats. You can get your comment on the screen. So that's there. And then let me see here. And okay, so if you want to jump on the stream, ask a question, make a comment, tell us why orthodoxy is wrong, please feel do. Oh, thank you. Super chat from Paul W. Hall. Thank you so much. Helping keep the lights on. Let's continue the momentum. This is moving faster now. All right, so we're gonna put PH there, and that's the first super chat of the night. So let's put that for 10. And hold on, updating. We are now down to a goal of 385, folks. If we can, our current is at 115. If we can get that up to 375, I will stay on for an extra half hour. And if we get that up to the total goal of 500, we'll stay on till 11:30. And then from there, let's see here. Yeah, or the pirate says you've been missed, and Matthew says good evening, y'all. Are you Orthodox yet? All right, so this is great. This is a great day, and so let me turn the banner on. I forgot because we want to show that. So we're
Our
doing
token
okay.
Protestant showed up. What's up, dude?
We don't call him token. I mean, we could call him token. That would be wrong to call him token. I think he's opinionated. He is very opinionated, and that's we like that. So that's fine. Whoa, Leonidas, already a member, sends in a $20 super chat. Let me see here. Will you talk about the new Holy Mountain Fathers in your history book on True Orthodoxy? I suspect that Abbot Bessarion of Gregorio was assassinated. I'm gonna be honest. The book is first off, I haven't worked on it in weeks, but the book is so it's like so basic, like very, very trying to be very like not detailed that I probably will mention the new Holy Mountain Fathers, but they're really a topic that deserves their own book, even a pamphlet. If anyone wants to do that, that's going to take a little bit of research, but it would definitely be worth it. It would absolutely be worth it. So that's my view. I wasn't planning on it, but it probably should be done. But
I don't
with
know
that,
about I don't know about this.
the new Holy Mountain Fathers.
Yeah,
That's
I really
if you
don't.
go to sfigmenu.com, they talk about it like in the timeline, but they don't go into
Right.
too much detail, so you have to kind of dig that out on with
Oh,
your own research. So that, thank you so much to Leonidas for helping keep the lights on. And guess what that means? That means we're now at $135, and we're now down to 365 left for the goal. So this was great. But wait, something else happened. I heard noise. And okay. And we got another donation of $5 via Cash App from DM. So let's do that. Hold on. And adding that. So now we're at 140. And hold on, we're down to 360. So this is going. We're moving along. This is fantastic. So let's put that there. Okay. And so boom. This is great. This is great, folks. Thank you so much. God bless you. And of course, everyone who is donating, you're in my prayers, and I'm in the chapel or in the altar, depending on how well I know. Dan Forey says, I should get Buffalo to join. I would love to see Buffalo on this chat. I would love to talk to Buffalo in real life. More Brethren Matthews says, Ortho Pirate, I'm double reformed now. That's like an Oreo. Samuel Rake says, do you take Zell, and what number name would I use with a member chat? Zell, actually, I don't take. And the reason for that is really weird. It's because in attempting to integrate with Zell about 2 years ago, my account just stopped working. My Zell account just stopped working altogether. And I've tried calling customer service. I've tried doing different things. It just won't let me use Zell. I just can't use it. So anything else, any of the things I mentioned on the bottom of NFTU.net, if you can, would be helpful. John Taylor Harden says, Dan, for you should get Buffalo to join. What the heck? I don't have a snake. Why are you growling at me? Wait, I don't want your snack either. Why are you acting weird? Okay. Um, yeah, double my prayer, or the pirate says, I will double my prayer effort for you. What? Let me see. Is this? Oh, okay. Whoosh. I sent the dog down the stairs. That might have been cruel. Okay, so yeah. Who is Buffalo, says Catherine. Buffalo is a guy on Twitter who really does not like True Orthodox much, and he likes to argue with them and call them names. Both Unseen and I have dealt with Buffalo many times, but he probably would be very interesting to have on the show.
yeah.
Yeah.
If there was a super villain, he's the super villain in my world.
He's more like a cartoon villain. All right, Ortho Pirate says, moreover, I'm raising 8 kids over here and you're making more work for me. Just convert already and cut me a break. Ortho Pirate says here. Lucas says, opinions on Matthewites. My opinion is we love the Matthewites. That's my opinion. So there you go. I'm sorry if I just make it Trump-esque, but I mean, my Matushka was a Matthewite. I know a number of nice Matthewites. Father Anthony Gavalas, who was like a living saint, was Matthewite. I met him. He was really nice. He was a good guy. Um, you know, my, stepdaughters, like, you know, godparents, they're Matthewites and good people. Like, I don't think I've met, maybe with the possible exception of Sosa Menos, I don't think I've met any Matthewites I don't like. They've always struck me as really nice people and, very kind. So why would I? That's my opinion on Matthewites.
I think there's a caricature of what Matthew Whites are, and some people might play that role sometimes. But
yeah, there's always people who are like they've read like some like generic history, like maybe the early, one of the early ones of the old calendarists, and they're just like, so Florinites want communion with the church, which is World Orthodoxy, and Matthewites they don't because they're extremists. Now that's an insane position, but I've actually heard new calendarists say stupid things like this, and people just
sometimes people too that are, you say day, they say night, and that attracts them,
Yeah.
so.
And Red Conquista says, "We back. Yeah, we're doing great so far. Thank you so much for the kindness for everyone who has donated. I don't know. That was not supposed to be free. You didn't. All right. Anyway, so let's continue on. Again, this is our live Q&A show. So you can have your questions, your comments answered live, video reviews if you would like. If you would like me to review a video, definitely I would say, go for it. And that's what we're here for, to answer questions on Orthodoxy. Lindorfer, what are the ROAC and Metropolia relations? To my knowledge, ROAC and Metropolia relations are at a pretty much an all-time low. I mean, I still have a lot of respect and love for Father Mark and his parish. I mean, I guess I'm assuming that it's not bad. I still talk to all the ROAC people I know. It's just I know that that's not. There's a new crop of and they're really more old calendar zealot fans than they are Orthodox. But trying to poison the well. But we don't have any official relations in Russia. They do have some pleasant relations with our Russians, and I'm okay with that. Let me see here. Sam England. Okay, thank you so much. Um, please tell me you found you found the true church, because you're starting with Salam Alaikum makes me a little nervous. But thank you for the donation. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you're not considering Islam. If you are, get on the stream and we'll talk about it. And I'll try to convince you not to do that, because that's not smart. So let's add that in for the super chat. SE for $10. Keep the lights on. We're now up to 150. And the goal is down to 350. So this is kind of crazy. If we can flip these numbers around, we may be able to stick around a little longer. Let me just double check here. See here. Oh, okay. All right. So that seems to be it right now. So this is good. Let's see. Just one Daniel York asks, just wondering, could you do Typica in a Minecraft Orthodox church? I would say no. I don't think that's wise. I mean, if you're gonna do stuff like that, you may as well just go on like one of the church channels and actually just watch a service. I've designed big, nice. I've designed really nice churches stuff in Minecraft in the past, where I've even put the text of Typica in, but I never put them in with the expectation that people would use them, and so I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, dog's going crazy. So yeah, I mean, in theory, you could build a nice little Minecraft Orthodox church, but really, you should be finding one or setting something up yourself. Whoa, okay, big news, fast. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. So first, uh, we have a donation from KSR. So I'm gonna put that there. Let's see here. And I got to change the banner. And so that was for 25. So thank you so much. These are helping keep the lights on. And then I add them up and I add them to the car issue, the car fund, which we'll talk about in a second. And that was for 25, bringing us up to 175. And so the goal is now three, it looks like 325, but I'm about to surprise you, because here comes another one. We got another very generous donation. Thank you so much, guys. Another generous donation from JH. So that one was for 100, and so that puts us at 275 current, and the goal is now down to 225. If it gets down to 125, we will be staying on for another half hour. If it gets cleared, I'll be here till 11:30. So this is kind of amazing. We're
awesome.
moving big. This is awesome. Glory to God. And this is great. All right, let's see what else we got. Ortho Part says Daniel York was asking redeem Zoomer. Oh, that was harsh. No, I mean you could build a church, you could put the text of Typica in there, and if it's a public server, maybe it'll help someone. But it would be weird to then just start trying to do the readings and pretending you're yeah. Let me see here. Debt to Compromise says Google True Orthodox Map. Oh, I'm going to put it up. It's free. I don't care if it's free. This one, okay, so it has over 20,000 views and it was published on September 15th. That's crazy. That's big. We're seeing big interest in True Orthodoxy coming out, and more people are looking, and they're finding that there's True Orthodox not far from them. We're everywhere, except if you're in Bulgaria, you might be in a little bit of trouble. Let me see here. Reconquista says shot collar like Hassan Piker. LO. Okay, let me see here. What do we got here? Let's see.
Where the Joe nuts at,
Huh? The Joe nuts.
20,000 Joe nuts are on the deal.
Time to make the Joe nuts. Thank you for everyone who's been donating. Thank you so much. And did I put in? I didn't put in that. I need to do that. So that was I didn't put in the I didn't put that in. Hold on, H100. So okay, so now it looks accurate. So this is great. I'm so happy that people are willing to help. For those who are not aware, basically, we had to repair our car, and I had to take out these very high interest loans. So I have 90 days to pay them back. Right now, we've collected 900 and the current goal is 2,500. It was 3,400. So our goal is to take as much as we can and throw it into the car payment. So God willing, this is going to work out. This is going to be very good. Okay, super chat. Hold on. Let me see here. And so let's see, Reconquista. Okay, and Ascendancy says I started that map and published it back at the end of 2024. Now, not even November yet. When I first shared it, it's now got 20,000. I'm glad to have helped. Well, glory to God, you're doing good work, and it is helping people. Lindorfer says, "Donut compromise." Nathan even with a super chat, very generous. Thank you for helping keep the lights on. Are the icons for holding focus during prayer, like candles and incense? They can be. But during prayer, most of the time, because we're reading, we're not actually, looking at the icons. They're useful for prayers where you're not like reading from the book, like say you just say the Our Father or you're saying the Jesus prayer. Icons can be helpful for that, but it is good for having the icons there, and it's traditional. So let's
I know
add that.
when I'm doing prayers here at the monastery, like what'll end up happening is like to avoid my I don't know, what he's talking about, losing focus. That is a part of it. It's like keeping your mind where it should be and not straying from the service and being present.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so currently we're at 285 and the goal is now down to 215. So this could be a very interesting half hour. All right, so let's pull that down. Let's look back at the comments. Leonidas with a member chat. Remember, you can also get your comments on the screen with a member chat with membership. Thoughts on Elder Sebastian of Optina. He joined the MP in the 1950s, but was the cell attendant of Elder Nectarius and Barsanuphius of Optina for 14 years. I mean, Lord have mercy. That's my thought. I mean, if you join the MP, considering that the MP was created after one of the largest murders, mass murders of Christians in 2,000 years of our history, that patriarchate was blood soaked, and I would be surprised. There's questions of like people like who was the one that they talk about, the guy who authored Christianity or the Church, and I'm trying to remember his name, but in history, like we assumed he was a new martyr, then suddenly the MP said, "Oh no, he would secretly join the MP." But I mean, they could say that about everyone. Like, what if they just start writing fake histories? So I don't know what to think about that.
Well,
Either
there was people like Saint Seraphim of Sophia, and Bishop Enoch brought this up to me, and I never really thought about this,
okay,
where the MP would sort of have them, delegated kind of off, and they wouldn't see what's actually going on. And there was all this propaganda going around that they've stopped the persecution, and Stalin's treating people right, and all this stuff, right?
yeah,
And that was like a common narrative. So you could be, let's say you had your parish and you were a priest or something, you could be in your little parish and it never really touch home for you because you're only hearing outside information. I don't know.
possibly. But I think in some cases, one thing to remember is that oftentimes, as soon as you made your agreement to join the MP, you had the men in black show up to tell you what you were supposed to be reporting on. So
Right,
this
yeah.
is, there's okay. Let me see here.
And St. Cyril of Kazan said, there'd been enough time for everybody to sort of, examine what had happened and what's going on. So I don't know. I don't think there's much of an excuse you could make, but
Yeah, I really wish that this did not have that. I don't know why it does. There's the let me see this, because it really needs to have that Palestinian Orthodox Church remove that dude's a scammer. I feel really bad, but I will include, for the sake of everyone else, I will include that listing. I'm gonna start putting hold on. I'm gonna start just putting this in my signature in the description. Locations. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put both the maps in my descriptions so people can refresh and you will see. I'm just going to start copying this into every episode if I have to, because I hate repeating myself. Give me one moment while I do that, and then we'll quickly edit this and add the maps. We have the maps. All right, so now you can, if you are looking for that map or you want to save it, etc., I have both the maps listed. You just have to refresh your screen and you should be able to see it. Let's see here. So that is the answer there I would give. Where's the website for the map again? Just refresh your screen. It should be in the description. Name three World Orthodox online priests who annoy you the most and tell us why. I don't know that okay. How about we do World Orthodox online clergy? Um, Let me think here. Um, I don't really get very annoyed by people. I'm trying to think. I guess I don't like what Father Patrick Cardine said about Western Rite. I think he's not promoting it, but he doesn't annoy me. I think he just doesn't know better. Uh, Father Dr. Deacon Ananias Zorim, yeah, he annoys me. And the good news is he actually says I annoy him a lot more because I think he's kind of just being a blowhard and he thinks we're mentally ill. So that's about it. I haven't, I'm sure Father Moses McPherson, while I would add him, he's kind of a likable guy. Welcome, Reader John. Um, and so
his whole claim that we're mentally ill, it reminds me of, Saint Anthony. It's like they'll say that you're mad because you're not like them. That
yeah.
that's straight out of a Saint Anthony prophecy. That's what I say.
Dan, oh, go ahead, Reader John. Oh, okay. All right. Well, are you there?
Father bless. Sorry.
Oh, God bless you. In the name of the Father, and the Holy Spirit. Okay. Let me see here. Let's see. Daniel York says, "Did Western Rite vestments look similar to Eastern Rite vestments?" The best way to look at it is look up Gothic vestments. You'll see that actually most of the components in traditional Gothic vestments correspond directly with Eastern vestments.
Gothic, not goth.
Yeah. Gothic vestments, not goth vestments. Those are different. Anglicans wear those. And no, I'm kidding. I don't know. I just made that up. That's I like some Anglicans like, how dare you? And
Well, if the shoe fits.
Goth Anglicans. That's ridiculous.
It was
It's
Anglo-Catholic.
actually not, believe it or not, it's actually not ridiculous. There was a church that was closed down around here that was an Anglican church, and I was thinking of reaching out, so I wanted to learn more about it. And apparently, the last time it was open, they did a goth mass. I kid you not. But anyway, Matthew says between names, that's a very competitive field. Reader John says, "Am I missing the StreamYard link? It should have been there."
Well, yeah, I found it, obviously.
Oh yeah, you found it. You're here. Sam England says, "What's your opinion on Lord of the Rings?" Well, I like them.
The books are good.
The books are good. I thought the Peter Jackson movies were okay.
I like Gollum.
Yeah, the new stuff from Amazon is trash. Don't waste your time. That's what I think. Ascendant says Hilarion Troitsky. Exactly, Saint Hilarion Troitsky. Liz Soto says, how do you explain prayer in Orthodoxy in a very literal way to someone who's only prayed in the Protestant world? The best way to do it is I would introduce to them the Psalms, because Orthodox read lots of Psalms, and we read them for Vespers, we read them for divine services, etc. We're always reading Psalms. So what I would do is I would explain that the way we Orthodox pray oftentimes throughout the day is we'll use different sets of Psalms. And then you can, if you want to show her, the best thing to do if you can is get a copy of the Psalter. The HTM one is probably the best, Holy Transfiguration Monastery, which has the divisions of the different Psalms. So you can show that to your friend, and they can kind of realize that the way Orthodox pray is different in the sense that we're always saying Psalms sometimes.
That's my favorite one.
Yep. Let's see here. It's not pinned, it's at the top. Denise says, that's kind of a sus questions in between names. The three most popular are obvious. Yeah, I'm not gonna, I could go off on Father Peter here or something, but what's the point?
We're in a post-Hears era.
What?
We're in the post-Hears era.
I guess, if he says something goofy about us, but he doesn't. He
ambushed you in a live stream. Come on, Father.
Yeah, well,
that's
if they had to resort to such tactics, was I not already the winner?
I know. I lost a lot of respect for him that day.
Oh yeah,
what little I had.
A lot of people did. Trust me.
Then he has no bishop.
That actually opened up a lot of people's eyes. And so that was, good.
You really get under their skin, because it's like the first person they bring up, it's like, it's Father Joseph.
And they were attacking him for stuff I said on the stream.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I will say this because this actually came up. I did talk to Ben from Cleve to Antiquity because he was kind of upset. He was kind of upset this past week that people were attacking him. So I had to actually explain, kind of like an outside observer thing. But I don't want to be, it's funny because I obviously can't control everyone. I don't control anyone. I'm just a priest, and most people who know me are my friends.
He's on the internet.
Congregants. Yeah. So I think he felt like ambushed, but I had nothing to do with it. So he's like, "Why are they attacking me?"
Well, first of all, I
was like, because I'm not the king of True Orthodoxy. What?
I seen what he was doing, and what he was saying was that that DTC was doing something that he wasn't, and I confronted him with it. I was like, he didn't do what you're saying. And let's be realistic here. Like, you're only saying this because you're in the in crowd now, and then he's like undermining martyrdoms, which is okay. So now you're going to act like you're a victim in some way. Like
well, let me even broaden the view even more. He's on the internet. Anybody that puts himself out there is open to criticism. If he's that hypersensitive, maybe you should get off the internet.
Well, it's the internet,
Yeah, that's the nature of the beast.
Yep. Ascendancy says Roquefort in the 1970s had some book calling him Archbishop Hilarion Troitsky and calling him Hieromartyr. He only died 2 years after Sergius's declaration and wasn't fully aware, though, he was against Sergius. Yeah, I mean, I that's the story I've heard, but now the new version that you find on like orthochristian.ru is like, he was like, rah, rah, Sergius, and everyone else is a schismatic. And I was like, that doesn't sound right.
What?
Yeah, they're rewriting history a lot of
Again.
places. Okay. In between him, but are the three most popular particularly annoying? They can be when they want to. And then he says, yes, 100%. Beyond annoying.
110%.
Yeah. And in between names says, Denise, so what are your top three? And Denise says, not playing that game in between names. Ascendancy says, did you say the Palestinian Orthodox Church one is not TO or defected or something? I can fix that then. I'm only like 50% done on the second map. Great. If you're the person to talk to, yeah.
Well, they were owned
He literally scammed his way into the Avlona Synod, and when they discovered the truth about him, they disavowed all knowledge of him. He is not considered a bishop by any true Orthodox people.
Yeah, the guy who's running that whole jurisdiction was a scam artist.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would take that one out of the Avlona thing because they're definitely not happy. But keep going. Though both the maps are beautiful, and I did put both the maps in the description, and they will be in every episode from now on to save me time and you. And so let's see. Father Moses is annoying too. But he tries to be funny.
That's Father Beast to you.
Yeah, Father, that's Mr. Priest.
Mr.
Mr. Priest 6000. Okay, anyway. Let's see. Oh, okay.
Another one.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear this. I just got a message.
I think the big misconception is like
hold
they
on,
think that we're trolling or something. When
hold
it's
on,
like,
Unseen. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Father.
I just got word today from a parishioner that tomorrow may be the demolition day for the church. Lord have mercy on us all. Oh, wow.
That's the one you had the videos on?
Yeah. They're going to bulldoze it. Wow.
God have mercy on their souls.
Yeah, Lord have mercy. That's really painful to hear. Wow. That's too bad. Let me see here. Dan Forey says the Palestinian Orthodox Church used to be part of the Milan Synod. No, Dan Forey, I used to be part of the Milan Synod. You're making that up. Don't ever do that again. You're not credible. You're a Greek Archdiocese guy. Don't go get rid of Ethan Wayne. Seth Val says, Father bless. May God bless the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And Reckon Key says, I went to a church in Seville. They have old vestments and they do look similar to Orthodox vestments. Yeah, Mozarabic Gothic vestments are actually longer, so they look, and they're really ornate. So yeah, it's really cool. Leonida says, Ascendancy, add the GOC Stefanos. You may need to send them the website that has all those addresses, because it's like the website, I think it's GOCNNA. Like, so if you look there, Ascendancy, like he has like a kind of a database of the list of the different parishes, so you could definitely add that. Yeah, Ascendancy says, oh, so the Palestinian church went MP now? I thought it was Avlona the whole time. It was no, it was never Avlona. It was a scam. It lasted in the Avlona Synod for approximately 20 minutes. It's a completely made up church by Ramsey Musallam, who basically is a wheeler dealer with real estate. John MC says the Reverend Dr. Father Deacon Ananias thinks that 85% of true Orthodox are mentally ill, so 15% are mentally healthy, it seems.
You gotta be a little bit crazy to be Orthodox, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't get over the big hairy feet in Lord of the Rings, says Reconquista. Yep, that's true. Ascendancy says, yeah, I wasn't sure who to add. I wasn't sure adding about Matthewites, but I find TOC Stefano's fine, so I'll add it. I did make a separate list of parishes for all Matthewites in it. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
That's nice. I'm sure they'd appreciate it.
Yep. Reconquista says, and also isn't the golem a part of Jewish tradition? Yeah, but it is, but I don't think they're using
it's different than that one.
And just not a proper map of it yet, nor was sharing it. Well, that's fine, but it's what you're doing is really helping people.
Yeah.
And Forey says, no, the Palestinian Orthodox Church is not connected to anyone. They try to use St. Nino's Georgian Orthodox Monastery, then Bishop Sava punished the monastery. Yeah, I'm surprised at how he's acquiring people. As I mentioned, Ramsey acquired an OCA church just like 10 miles from us. Beautiful church. I'm like, why would they go with him? Like, he's, well, maybe that's why.
Well, as I told behind the scenes to our dear friend Jacob from the last stream, some of these people, even though they're very incorrect, are very charismatic.
And often then, yeah, they're very, that's true. But he's a degenerate, like a moral degenerate. Like he's
Yeah.
not only is he not a bishop, he's like not, he's sus in orthodoxy.
Well, a lot of the world Orthodox are not too far off.
Yeah.
Do you not remember that Metropolitan Joseph from the Antiochian Archdiocese?
At least it was a woman.
Yeah, that's good. Well, that's a fair point. Then he
I'm
tried to
not gonna
then he tried to sue
Great.
then he tried to sue to get millions from them.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Lindorfer says there's a big Pentecostal personality, Mike Bickle, who teaches you to pray from the stomach, which is wrong. Yeah, I will pray with your mouth.
You say
not with your
pickle?
stomach. No, Mike Bickle.
Oh, I got hungry.
More pickle.
Leonidas says, Leonidas 2000 with a member chat says, once in St. Philaret, a member of the MP in China from 1945 to 1961.
He was never part of the MP. I think.
Yeah, because it wasn't under communist control yet. They tried to assassinate him twice. No, I don't think he was. I think he may have. Was it him or St. John? Maybe it was both, but
didn't he have a father that ended up being a MP?
His father ended up being going with the MP and ended up going back to Russia and loudly advocating for everyone to return to Russia, and he died a few months later.
Yeah.
It might be something like St. Philaret was with them for a while and then like discerned that this is wrong, like something's up with this, and then he started protesting vehemently.
I'd have to read the life,
rejecting a Soviet passport, like the whole Soviet passport stuff.
I'd have to read the beginning of Subdeacon Nectarius's book again.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see here.
Shameful plug.
Shameful plug for the St. Philaret. There's so many saints. There's the life of St. Philaret that he has there. There's the St. Philaret letters, complete works, and now we have the In Their Own Words, the letters of St. Philaret and Bishop Gregory Grabe. Highly recommend. OrthodoxCredentialist.com.
I'm coveting that one.
The backstory on that, as far as I know, is that they assumed that the Rokor had been disintegrated.
Yeah.
Right. And
correct. So they were like, well, I guess this is all that's left. It's God's will.
Oh, man, I'm coveting that last book you mentioned. Bishop Gregory Grabe.
They're In Their Own Words? Yeah. It is. I can't wait to get started.
If only he would release Kindle versions.
Well, he's going old school.
I know. It doesn't help the blind people, though.
I understand that. Since all the fathers teach to pray from the heart, yeah, that's crazy, Lindorfer. That's terrible. This photo says, what's the best response when Protestant family members start praying around you or for you?
Cross yourself.
Probably pray a little louder.
Big sign of the cross.
They're gonna do a big sign of the cross. That'll usually that always helps. So I would be smart and be first. Let's see.
Start doing the tris again.
Yeah, start the Trisagion. Yeah, exactly. Death to Compromise says, wait, what? I'm not sure what you're referring to, DTC.
You're in trouble, mister.
Wait, whose feelings got hurt? What is going on here? Did I miss something?
I think you're referring back to the thing with Ben.
Oh, well, it's okay. These are a few minutes old. Reckon Keith, have you seen the bankers in Lord of the Rings? Obedience says it's not like the Diorites ortho bros don't do the same to every Christian on earth that's not them. Yeah, they kind of do. Sam England says Father Moses on YouTube has some good stuff on masculinity. Yeah, he does, which is why I'm not so, some of it's goofy and he still does apostate stuff, but yeah, he does some entertainment. Dan Forey says, go chain yourself to it. I don't know what that means. In Between Names says, why did Metropolitan Angelos join the Milan Synod in 2008? What is the justification for this being okay? He didn't join the Milan Synod. What happened was he did recognize communion between Milan and
Yeah,
his
they're in the
own.
communion. That's
Yeah,
not. Yeah, they still have
yeah. And
separate
then
synods.
right, and then Bishop Metropolitan of Logos helped Metropolitan Angelos make bishops, and that's what became the GOCA. So he didn't join the Milan Synod. Yeah, he was always in Greece, so that's outside of our jurisdiction. So I hope that helps. Denise with the broken heart emoji. John MC, Glospoli Pomelo, Lord have mercy. Oh, yes, this is about the building, most likely. Tennessee, Lord of mercy. Yeah, it is a real shame. If that's true, that's the saddest thing I've heard in a while. And it's a shame for not just the community, it's a shame for um the Orthodox people. There were options there. They didn't have to do this.
They used to house the relics of. I'm blanking on a name
They
right
had a
now.
foot. I know they had a foot of Saint Alexei, but they moved that to the.
Yeah.
I call it the Casino Church. It's the church on the mountain.
He
Actually,
used
it's
to be
funny.
there.
Rob
Yeah.
Schneider actually, the comedian, actually tweeted a picture of that church, and I was like, "What? What? Deuce
Wow.
Bigelow went to church?" I was like, "Okay, it's interesting." For those who don't know the Deuce Bigelow reference, Rob Schneider is an actor, comedian, performer. He's been in a lot of different things. But I guess he
random,
drove by an
Father.
What?
That was really random.
It was the first one that popped into my head because, like, the other ones, you have to be like 51st dates. The guy that was
Is
like, "You can do it."
are you gonna put
You
Deuce
can
Bigelow
do
in your
it.
TO history?
Oh, did that come up?
No, I'm just that's a sincere question. Not playing.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to because first off, he's not even near a TO church. He went by the Casino Church, which is OCA.
Oh, okay.
Ascendancy says, "Yeah, I got a nice list of Stefanos parishes, but any more suggestions, etc., you can send in chat, and I'll save it for later." Joseph Patton says, "Are you in communion with the GOCK under His Eminence Metropolitan Demetrius?" Well, it depends on who you're talking to. If you're talking to me, no, I'm not. I believe Unseen Warfare is not, but I believe Reader John is.
Yep.
Yeah. So hope that helps, Joseph Patton.
I think they were referring to y'all synod.
Huh?
I think they were referring to the synod.
Oh, well, no, we're not. I can just say we're not. But I like to point out that when you're talking about individuals, we are all in communion with our bishops. Hey,
Yeah.
Dan, seems like you need to break your chains to Antichrist behavior. Oof. Yeah, Holy Flood Metropolitan Philaret's father was part of the MP. Yes, and he didn't last long.
Yeah.
Sam England says, "What do you think of the new Bishop of the Church of England, a woman who sanctioned the graffiti in the church?"
That's not really a bishop.
Have a look if you haven't seen it. I don't know. I don't know if I want to see it, but yeah, we don't recognize bishop presses. So no. Let me see here. In between names says St. John Maximovich is famous for apologizing to every concelebrant for being part of the MP for the few months he was. Yes. Ryan Maya says, "Do you view Romans 4:8 as talking about David as the blessed man?" Okay, I'm gonna have to look at Romans 4:8 to see what we're referring to.
Huh.
Blessed is the man in whose sin the Lord will never. Blessed is the man to whom the Lord will never impute. And that's just a quote from Psalm 32, verse 2, if I remember. Blessed is the one whose sin shall never. The Lord will never count against them. And yeah, that's. I'm pretty sure that's from Psalm 32 or Psalm 30. Is it Psalm 32?
I got a small commentary here. It says, quote, "Forgive, cover, not reckon, all amount to one and the same thing, for three are given and received in the same way." Paul has three categories to cover the different types of sin.
Welcome,
The
Father
first
Boniface.
category is that of the wickedness of or ungodliness, and the Creator is not acknowledged. The second category is that of the more serious sins, and the third is that of the less serious ones. All of these are wiped out in baptism. That's Ambrosiaster.
Oh, Ambrosiaster. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's all. Well, yeah. So it basically is just a reference back to Psalm 32. So to welcome Father Boniface, Benedicite.
Benedicite.
Let me see here. Brother Augustine, Lindorfer says, Brother Augustine becoming True Orthodox when? Gotta ask him. The bankers were in Harry Potter, not Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I don't remember bankers being in Lord of the Rings, but I thought maybe I just
Yeah,
missed
that's what I
something
was
in the
thinking.
book. Dan Forey says, go chain yourself to St. Alexis' Church to stop the demolition. Yeah, I wouldn't know. I'm sorry to. We did everything we could, man. So don't blame us. Ephesians 6:12. Are you in communion with the GOCK? Don't know who you're talking to. Are you talking to someone in the chat? Are you talking to me? Because I already answered. Let's see.
Oh, so somebody in the chat.
Yeah. Wilkes-Barre, Sign of the Times, disheartening and dismaying. Very old. Last of the last old timers with ties to that part of Northeast Pennsylvania. Yeah. I'm a newbie here, but I'm still just, I was horrified by learning this. Haunted, what a reference. Raya righteousness imputed to everyone as a free gift, or is Romans 4:8 being only implied to David's righteousness? I think it implies by extension to everyone who receives it. Let me see here. Thank you for your answer. So to continue then, wasn't Evlogius outside the church due to ecumenism? No, he wasn't. I actually that was led to some other stuff that happened. But no,
boy.
yeah, it's a complicated history, but I can tell you you're wrong there.
History is messy, guys.
Leonidas asks again, wasn't St. Philaret a member of the MP in China from 45 to 61? I'm just going to have to look at the life and find out for you, Leonidas. I'm not sure. Hold on. Life of St. Philaret. I don't think it was that
Why
long.
would he be in communion with them if they're trying to kill him?
Yeah.
I have the history if you want me to go over it.
That would be handy.
Yeah, that'd be
Oh,
handy.
okay. Yeah.
Okay, so he was.
One moment.
Always trust the monk.
To Harbin.
You go by father or brother. I'm not sure how it is in the Western. Right.
Well, he's right. I think he's brother. Right.
And brother. Okay.
So let me see here. So I'm looking it up right now. Her brother is actually looking it up right now. Okay, Ephesians says, are you, Father Joseph, in your church in communion with the GOCK? And thrice I answer no.
Nay.
We happen to not, I happen to have a lot of friends in the GOCK, and I happen to have a lot of respect for them. But I'm not going to pretend I'm in formal communion with them. But if it makes you feel better that I'm not in formal communion with them and that makes you want to join them, I highly recommend it.
There's very friendly relations.
You won't be in communion with me, so you'll be fine.
There's very friendly relations from the bishops down, though, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I actually know Metropolitan Demetrius and have known him for a long time. He's a great person, great bishop. In between names, why don't you just call in? Yeah, that's a good question. Why don't you just call in there? Yeah. And then Reader John, where is your church at? I forget where you are. Huh? None your business. Okay. Let's see. Ascendancy says, if it's okay, I have a question to Father Boniface. I heard you become True Orthodox just about 5 years ago. Unless I'm wrong, but you went through a few changes in faith before True Orthodox and then you became a priest. How long did it take to become a priest and how did it happen? I'm curious as I may potentially go towards the priesthood if I'm seen as a good candidate as I'm learning more about our faith. If you want to take the whole question, Father, you can, but I just want to add the caveat that one thing that does make a difference when a person is often received more quickly is experience. So if you have celebratory experience, that makes a difference with things. But yeah, Father Boniface, that's your question. So,
Well, I'll just add on to that. Well, I was ordained a Presbyterian minister in 1988, but I was a bivocational kind of a working guy. I've been doing my ministry, but then I came into the went through the Anglican Church, and then came into the Old Catholic Church, and I was ordained into the Old Catholic Church, and I was serving with the Old Catholic Church for 9 years. And then and so then I switched over to the another branch of the World Orthodox Christian Church for a year or so or two, and then I so then when I talked with Vladika John over the phone for about a year, um, he found enough in me to give me the invitation, and but I want to tell you something. I applied myself quite with a lot of work to learn as much as I could. Whether I learned the I learned the Latin Mass basically on my own. You know, I had a little bit of coaching, but not a whole lot. But you know, in other words, I took a lot of initiative to learn as much as I could. And so you know, if that's a little bit of an answer, yeah, like Father Joseph said, I've had a lot of experience in the ministry and in the liturgy. And then when I talk with Ladiga John, he just, and then you know, I'll say another thing too. As far as the true orthodoxy, well, oddly enough, when I was ordained in the Presbyterian ministry, I was ordained under Carl McIntyre, and if that's a voice from the past, but Carl was one of the most notable Protestant ministers of the 50s and 60s, and going back to the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. He was a prominent conservative Presbyterian, and he was exposing the attacks by the communists, actually even in the Orthodox Church. He was against the World Council of Churches. He was exposing their liberalism. He was exposing the liberalism of the Presbyterian churches. So in a lot of ways, I was being prepared for true orthodoxy, because when I heard about true orthodoxy, I just said, I get it. I get it, because I've been dealing with this stuff in the Protestant world for many years, and it's just changing the garments and just to plug in the other values. And I was totally familiar. You just had to learn more of the vocabulary. So if that's an answer, you know, it's what I can say for the moment. If you have any more questions, let me know.
All right, great. Thank you. Let me continue here.
I got that history,
if
by the
he,
way, Father, if you want me to cover it. It's short.
huh?
The
The
history on the
history
St. Philip
for
thing?
yeah for
Oh,
Saint
for St.
Philaret.
Philaret?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, it's a short quote. It's from Father Seraphromos. He says, quote, "The same is true of Metropolitan Philaret and Archbishop John Maximovich in China. It is formally correct that for several days in 1945, after receiving false information that Metropolitan Anastasi had died, the synod was dissolved. The church situation in Russia changed completely as a result of the war, and the Patriarch was elected legally. They did commemorate Patriarch Alexei. But when the connection with Metropolitan Anastasi was soon reestablished, and the truth became known, they both became such convinced enemies of Moscow, so at odds with Moscow, that Moscow still to this day remembers Archbishop John as the head of the schism in China."
Okay,
And then
so
there's
that
this last part. It says, "The Declaration of the Parishioners of St. John's Maximovich, dated May 9th, 1963, it reads, Bishop John never obeyed the Patriarch of Moscow. He did not enter any relations with the Moscow Patriarchate and never had any connections with it."
okay. Well, I think that settles that. So I hope that answers the question there for Leonidas. Ephesians 6:12 says, "Why are you not in communion with them, and if your sin and theirs have the same faith?" As I've often said many times on this show, and I will answer very simply, I refer that question to our sister synod in Avlona, Greece, which
There's a
has
lot of
representation through Archbishop Irenaeus here in America.
if you studied the history of the genuine Orthodox, you would already know that answer. That is very complicated.
Yeah. But I feel like they just want to ask the question.
I understand.
Ascendancy says from some clergy in Rokana and Synod of BOSVR. I hope that helped answer the question. Lindorfer said rude. I think he was a little mad at the Nunya.
Oh, it'd be all right.
Ryan,
I don't like
Ryan,
sharing. I don't like sharing too much because we have a bunch of people that like to just they spend like 18 hours a day online and try and get people, and I don't want to bring that on anybody.
Yep. Ryan, what are the most fantastic writings on the New Testament? Plus, I'm part of like study Bible. I'm not sure. You might have to be some more specific on what you mean by the fantastic writings. Leonidas says, "Sorry if you answered the question. I thought you didn't. Actually, we just got more details, so it's actually better that you asked twice." Ryan Maya says, "Is Brother Nathaniel some random guy with dementia that dresses as a fake person? Is he a wolf?"
Well, he is mentally ill.
Yeah, he's got issues. He's got issues. Ascendancy says, "Thank you, Father Boniface." Also asks, which book is Unseen Warfare reading from?
That was from the Orthodox Word, the first part of it, and the second
Oh,
part
cool.
of it was from. Well, the whole thing is on the Catacomb Blogspot. It was the website that Gregory Decapolate put out, and he's got some historical text there. But the first part of the text is from the Orthodox Word.
All right. Well, here we go. I mean, I have to say this. So, one moment. All right. So we've hit 10:30. So we did not make the goal. I did great, 285, but we didn't make the goal to our 75%. So
Losing.
in that case, but that's all right. We'll be back Tuesday and we'll keep going. And we did great. I'm really grateful to everyone. We can add that to the car fund. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you to Unseen Warfare, to Father Boniface, to Reader John, for being up here with me. Thank you to our listeners, to those who had questions and had comments, and to those who support our mission. Support the channel. We at NFTU need your help. Support us by subscribing or donating at nftu.net or on Give, Send, Go. We remember all of you in our prayers, and thank you for all the support for NFTU. And as always, if this was helpful to you, don't forget to like and subscribe. The prayers of Holy Fathers, Lord Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy on us and save us.
Hey, Father, before we sign off, can we get an update from Father Boniface how things are going with the Florida transition?
Well,
yeah.
Hmm?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, my house is under contract, and the house that I'm seeking to purchase is under contract. But I need some prayer because there are some contingencies and requirements that have to be met. And as far as my house is concerned, for it to pass, I have to pass inspections, and I might have to buy some, a water heater, and I'm going to have my air conditioning checked. But it's moving forward, and I think it looks good. It's a lot of work. It's just a lot of work. And when I move up to that house, by the way, it's work intensive. I got it with a sweat equity clause in that house because it's going to be a lot of painting and flooring and purchasing of air conditioning and stuff like that. But the Lord is good, and He has helped provide for me. And so the monies that I'll get from this sale, and then I'll move in and put it into the new house. But it'll be on an acre, just about an acre. It's got a good square footage. It's twice the square footage that I have at this house. It's in a big utility shed, which will be great. I need one, and of course the family is right around the corner. That I just baptized. The Chamberlain family is right around the corner. And so that's really great right there. The locality is great. So I appreciate all your prayers. I really need them. Thank you for the question.
Well, you do got them. You have them from us.
Thank you.
So for everyone, have a good night. And thank you again for the prayers of Holy Fathers of Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy on us and save us.
Amen.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Wait, hold on. I just got I may as well. This is the last question, guys. Can I ask a quick question too? How is it having to set up parishes and being True Orthodox priests? Do you all get pensions or no, since the synod is a bit smaller? We don't, unless we had secular work pensions, we don't get any pension past maybe Social Security, depending on how long we worked in the world, etc. Yeah, that's kind of standard. What are the difficulties in expo and setting up churches? That's got to wait till Tuesday, Ascendancy. That's a long question to ask at the end of the show. Debt to Compromise says, new vid tonight. We shall be waiting for it. And everyone, have a great night. May God bless you in the name of the Father, and the Holy Spirit. Have a good night, all.
Amen.
Yeah, amen.